So looking at FanDuel, Niners favored by a touchdown in this one. So it would be a Cards upset, according to the bookmakers, Alex. And according to me, it would be a Cardinals upset. Would it be a Cardinals upset to you? What would that look like? Paint the picture for a Cardinals win Sunday at the San Francisco 49ers.
Everything would be erased. All of the negativity would be erased. It means Kyler Murray has a massive day. And that's the elixir for all things happiness in Arizona. The path to victory for the Cardinals, winning time of possession. They haven't been on the field for more than 27 minutes the last couple of weeks, which, it's like the Richter scale. I mean, you're in Northern California. I grew up in LA. Like, every number that goes up is 100 times worse than the one before, or 1,000 times worse, something like that. So the fact that the Cardinals have been on the field for only 27 minutes, leaving this depleted, talent-wise defense on the field for 33-plus minutes a game, it's a recipe for disaster, and it has been. So running the ball effectively is where it starts. James Conner had 100-plus rushing yards last week. A lot of it was in garbage time. A lot of it was on one drive that resulted in a touchdown that cut the game to a 13-point deficit. It wasn't early on. They threw the ball a lot early. Kyler Murray needs to be no longer a game manager, but more of a game wrecker. And this is going against everything that I said when the season started. Run the ball, play action, tight end, wide receivers. Kyler Murray stay behind the line of scrimmage. They got to scrap it at this point and just hope that he knows how to use his body and stay in space. Slide, roll, get out of bounds, LaDainian Tomlinson it, whatever you have to do to not get hit while getting chunk gains is something that Kyler Murray needs to do in an effort to win. And I know it's far-fetched because of the defense that they're playing against that knows him so well. Mitch Artavius Ward, this is his sixth time playing against Kyler Murray. Fred Warner's never not. Nick Bosa's never not. It's just they know him so well. So this is going to be scheme plus Kyler Murray in an effort to unlock this entire offense in an effort to be on the field for longer than the defense is. And that's the only way the Cardinals are going to win, because there's no track record of this defense as currently constructed being able to stop this offense, regardless if Christian McCaffrey's there or not.
The 49ers have had a few bouts this season with not being able to get off the field on third downs. And I think that is absolutely one of the keys. And for the Arizona Cardinals to be able to run the ball a little bit against the 49ers, be able to keep converting those third downs and not just have big plays, but have, long drives that keeps the 49ers off the field. And of course, that's what the 49ers are built on, staying in front of the sticks, running the ball well. Jordan Mason's number 2 in the NFL. It wasn't for Derrick Henry going for 200 yards last week. He would be the league's leading rusher right now. That's without Christian McCaffrey on the field. So the 49ers still can run the ball, and they're still, a balanced offense. And these days, a balanced offense means you're kind of a run-first offense. And so they're going to run the ball. Kyle Shanahan wants to be able to have his entire playbook at his disposal. So, that's obviously task number one for the Cardinals, is to stop the 49ers run game. It's task number one for every team that ever plays Kyle Shanahan and a Mike Shanahan before that football team. So can the Cardinals do that? I have my doubts if the Cardinals defense is going to be up to the challenge there. And so that's why I like the 49ers to win this game, because Kyle Shanahan will be able to be in his bag. He will be able to run the football effectively. He will be able to play around with some wide back. And then you get Deebo Samuel in the backfield. And then you get Juwan Jennings out on the field as well. And, a little use check here and there. You get Kittle over the middle if you're trying to pay too much attention to other guys. So there's just too many weapons and too many ways that Kyle Shanahan can beat you if he's able to get in his bag, if he's able to keep the offense balanced and not become one-dimensional. So for the Cardinals, don't let them score early, because you don't want to be chasing the Cardinals, because you become a little bit more one-dimensional. You want to be able to, have a close game, have the lead, be able to run and pass in just about any time you want it, and make the defense respect that. And I kind of expect that is the way that things are going to go on Sunday, and the 49ers will be able to win this one. 7 points, though. I thought 10 felt like a lot, the way the 49ers had laid a couple eggs last week against the Patriots, and they just destroyed the New England Patriots. Now, Cardinals have a much better offensive line, so 7 points is kind of a lot, but it's at home. What we saw the last week, I kind of like the Niners, and I would maybe even get up those 7 points. I don't know if I want to make a pure score prediction here in this one, but I do like the 49ers for that reason, because I don't think when you're drawing all these, you're like, okay, we need this to happen for the Cardinals on offense. Oh, the 49ers have players that can stop that. One of the best offenses in the league right now is the San Francisco 49ers. Can the Arizona Cardinals defense stop that, stop what they're trying to do? And I have a harder time believing that story than the other story.
Yeah. I mean, they did play a lot of catch up that ballooned those numbers against Minnesota. Okay. They had the lead and then lost it all to the Rams. So it's not just the stats tell the story. And they played a bad New England team last week. Like, yes, their offense is formidable, of course. It's Kyle Shanahan calling card. The one thing the Cardinals have going for them is the NFL may, like, not literally, but this is a perfect time for the NFL to be like, knock, knock, knock. Remember, crazy things happen. This just feels like one of those games where it's like, there's no way the Cardinals should be in contention in this game. And this is the time where the Cardinals have a Matt Prater 55-yard field goal to win by 1 and walk it off in some random fashion. We've seen this happen between these teams a lot, where the Cardinals go to Levi. They've had good success at Levi Stadium, average success. They've won a couple games there with Kyler Murray there. Is there a strong chance that it's going to happen? No, I'm not going to be a meteorologist and say it's not going to rain when the clouds are in the air. Like, I get all of that. Having said that, the Cardinals have been a couple plays in each of their 2 losses, aside from this past week, from starting 3-0. And they play Buffalo, which is a good team, and they play Detroit, which I would take in a 7-game series over San Francisco. So I think that if the Cardinals don't beat themselves, they don't have 3 and outs, and they can stay on the field, this is going to be a closer game than people expect. I don't know if they'll cover the 7. I don't know if they're going to win, but I think that if the Cardinals don't beat themselves, this will be a closer game than people anticipate.
It's not like the Cards are going to be surprised, not only because the 49ers are a familiar opponent, but the Cardinals have played a more difficult schedule than the 49ers have this year. The Niners haven't seen a team as good as the Bills or as good as the Lions so far this year. So it's going to be an interesting one. And NFL.
Let me ask you this, because I want to ask you this before we get out of here. I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
You've seen enough sample size, and I'm not a Brock Purdy hater by any stretch. I don't. I see what I'm like, cool. People are just jealous they don't have that spot, and they've had other quarterbacks who have not been able to execute the way he has. So I understand all of that. Him being a 300-plus yard per game passer out of 10, let's say out of 5, how much does that worry you in the long run, where, Christian McCaffrey's on Mars checking out his Achilles, it's stuff that, like, 1 to 5 for the entire season? How sustainable, how much does that worry you in the big picture?
It worries me like a 1 out of 5. It doesn't worry me at all. If that's the right number on the meter, if you mean. So low means it doesn't worry me a lot. It doesn't. I have utmost respect and belief in Brock Purdy. I think there's some things he's limited at, is where, like, there's balls he can't fit in. He can't be that late on a throw, like, say, Josh Allen can. But he's so good. He makes plays with his legs. He is so smart. He knows where to go with the football. He'll do some weird things occasionally, but the 49ers, I think, just have proven, and he has proven. And by the way, they've run the ball fine without Christian McCaffrey. So he adds an element for sure, but they can go wide back to get a little bit more Deebo Samuel pass catching element out of the backfield if they want to replace the Christian McCaffrey usage. So McCaffrey usage is really McCaffrey is just kind of icing on the cake for the 49ers. And a lot of people wanted to make it seem like McCaffrey makes the offense go, as if Kyle Shanahan's never been able to run the ball before Christian McCaffrey showed up, right? McCaffrey's not that. And McCaffrey's awesome, but he's the icing on the cake. The 49ers still have that cake. And, sometimes I kind of prefer cake without icing. I don't know if that's weird.
You're a maniac.
But I do. And that's kind of what the 49ers are right now. There's still cake, and it's still really good. And multiple layers of cake. And if you cover up Ayuk, you bracket him, Juwan Jennings is going for 11 catches, 170 yards, and 3 touchdowns, right? And they're still able to run the ball. So, and Brock Purdy has been really awesome. I'm a 100% believer in Brock Purdy, his ability to facilitate and make all of that go. And if they need to lean on Brock Purdy, I got no problems with it. And I think they'll be just fine on the offensive side of the ball. And by the way, Brock Purdy, man, he was forged in that Arizona heat. And for some reason, the marine layer just pieced out in the Bay Area. It's 90 degrees where I am. It's never 90 degrees where I am. And I'm cooking right now. And so I understand how it is now to be forged in that. And I'm not built that way. I'm not built that way anymore. I'm too soft. It's 65.
Prenatal.
Yeah, exactly.
Prenatal when it comes to understanding what it's like to be in the heat. Okay.
So Brock Purdy understands that. And so he's made for the heat. And it's going to be a fun game. And division games are always close. And as you mentioned, Alex, the NFL is chaos. So don't go marking down any wins yet, even though I do like the 49ers by 8 in this one.